are you all? Welcome to the next session of SUVY Classes Revision All-in-One program. Yes, so this is everything you have to. Okay, so I guess I had lost connection in between, but no worries, I'm back. I hope everything is all fine for you. Okay, so why don't we start our class? Before that, how did you enjoy the last class? Did you understand everything? Please let me know so that I can improve and make this class more interesting for you. Yes? So I would really love all your feedbacks. Please be honest and let me know what you think. Okay, so it's time now to start today's session. And we have the same session for right now for 2 more classes. Then we are done with the text, okay? You know that? In 2 more classes, we'll be done with the text and we are going to start grammar. And you know what? Grammar is the most fun part, I believe, because you can learn. It's very useful for daily life. You can use all those things in daily life. So it's really very fun. Yes? So, but this is also, we are doing so much interesting things in these too. The stories are so lovely. I love these stories and so nice to read with you guys. So, let's start the class today. Okay. So, I'm presenting you the screen. Yes. So, today is session 4 of the revision and my name is Sumita Ar. Okay, so today for the class we have from Honeycomb the invitation of Vita Wonk. Dad and the Cat and the Tree is the poem. Then the second chapter that we are going to do from Honeycomb is Fire, Friend and Foe. Yes, and the poem Meadow Surprises. So also we are going to take an alien hand. Yes, we're not going to take the alien hand in our hand, but we are going to read from the text an alien hand about 2 chapters, Chandni and the bear story. Okay, so why don't we start? Yes, so let's start reading. The first one is the invitation of Vita Wonk. I will display the text for you so that we can read together. All of us can look at the text. I'm sure you must be having the text, but it's okay. You can look at the screen. And if in case you want to look into the text, no problems at all. Okay, so do you remember about the inventions of the Vita Wonk? Yes? Do you have any idea? You must have studied all this not very long ago. You just done. Maybe you're just done with your exams or you are still on that and you must have revised it in school. So we thought we will also give you a quick revision of all these. Okay. So yes, this is about a person, Willy Wonka. Okay. He has invented Wonka White, which makes people younger. Okay, so but Wonka White is too strong, so some people disappear because their age becomes minus. Okay, one person actually becomes minus 87, which means he's got to wait 87 years before he can come back. So Mr. Willy Wonka must invent a new thing. So he does things like this. He's kind of a researcher. He finds out things and he makes things. Okay. So first he made Wonka White, which makes people younger. Now he's inventing something new. So why don't we read and know what is he inventing now? So Mr. Wonka said, so once again I rolled up my sleeves. What does rolling up your sleeves mean? To start some work. So when you are getting to do some work, what do? You mostly fold up your sleeves and so like you're Say, I'm ready. Yes. Now I don't want to dirty my sleeves and I'm ready for the work. Yes. So, and set to work. So he also rolled up his sleeves and set to work. Once again, I squeezed my brain searching for the new recipe. So he's creating some new recipe. I had to create age to make people old, old, older, oldest. So now he's creating something to make people old. Okay. Before he was creating something, before he created something that made people young. Now he's creating it to make people old. Okay. So, haha, I cried. For now, the ideas were beginning to come. What is the oldest living thing in the world? What lives longer than anything else? That is the question he's asking. A tree? Charlie said. Charlie must be some boy. Yes, he is a boy with who is with Mr. Willy Wonka. Okay? A tree, Charlie said. Right, you are. Oh, before I continue this, have you seen the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? This is the continuation. You can say it as the sequel to that. So Charlie is the boy from that story, and Willy Wonka. Do you remember Willy Wonka in that? Who was the inventor of the chocolate, the delicious chocolate? Yes. So that same is Willy Wonka, and Charlie is the child who got the chance of having that. To be his heir, right? You remember that movie? You must have watched it. So yes, so this is Charlie and Willy Wonka's story. So isn't it interesting to know the next thing after the movie? So yes, what are they doing next? So right you are, Charlie, but what kind of a tree? Not the Douglas fir, not the oak, not the cedar. No, no, my boy. It is a tree called the bristlecone pine. So which is the oldest tree? The bristlecone pine that grows up upon the slopes of Wheeler Peak in Nevada, USA. You can find bristlecone pines on Wheeler Peak today that are over 4,000 years old. So they are that oldest trees. So this is fact, Charlie. Ask any dendrochronologist. That's a very tough word. We must remember that. Dendrochronologist. Okay? You look that word up in the dictionary when you get home. Will you please? So that started me off. I jumped into the grade class elevator and rushed all over the world collecting special items from the oldest living things. You remember the grade class elevator? He could go travel anywhere in that transparent. It was like an invisible elevator. You remember from the movie? That is the same one. So, what all things did he collect from different places of the world? A pinch of sap from a 4,000-year-old bristlecone pine. So, a small sap, okay, a small piece of that tree. A toenail clipping from a 168-year-old Russian farmer called Petrovich Gregorovich. Yes. So he is 168-year-old farmer, okay, Russian farmer. So from him, he took the nail clip, the nail cut. Okay, you cut the nail. So that same thing from his toe. An egg laid by a 200-year-old tortoise belonging to the king of Tonga. Okay, 200-year-old tortoise. So the tail of a 51-year-old horse in Arabia. The whiskers of a 36-year-old cat called Crumpets, and old flea which had lived on crumpets for 36 years. The tail of a 207-year-old giant rat from Tibet, the black teeth of a 97-year-old grimalkin living in a cave on mountain Popocatépetl. Okay, grimalkin is kind of a cat. I will show you the pictures of all this. Then the knuckle bones of a 700-year-old cataloo from Peru. So I think I can show it right now itself. I will show you all the pictures that he is talking about so that you get an idea of what it is. Okay, so this is the 4,000-year-old tree that he's talking about, the bristlecone pine. Okay, so next he said, okay, one second. It's the text. Let me open the text and I'll let you know. Yeah, this is the bristlecone pine. Now, you know about a 160-year-old farmer. You can guess. I mean, think about, imagine a person very old. Now, next is a tortoise you must have seen. Horse also you must have seen. A cat also, yes. Flea is the insect that sits on a cat. Now, giant rat is also fine. I mean, imaginable. The next thing is grimalkin. I will show you what a grimalkin is. So this is grimalkin, okay? This is the cat he's talking about, okay? Fine. So next is, yes. So after that, he's talking about the knuckle bones of a 7-year-old cataloo from Peru. So now he's saying about a cataloo. Cataloo is a mix of a cow and a buffalo. Okay, so that breed is called Cataloo. So he found the knuckle bones of a 700-year-old Cataloo from Peru. Okay, so yes. So this is what all these things from all these animals is what he has collected to make his ocean, to make people older. Okay, so now all over the world, Charlie, Mr. Wonka went on. I tracked down every old and ancient animals and one of took an important little bit of something from each one of them. So he took things from all these. So a hair on the eyebrow, or sometimes it was no more than an ounce or two of the jam scraped from between its toes. You see the dirt between their toes. He even took that while it was sleeping. I tracked down the whistle pig. Okay, I will also show you these whistle pig, the bobolink, the scroc, the polyfrog, the giant curicue, the stinging slug, and the venomous squircle. I didn't find all of these pictures because some are imaginary things which only Mr. Willy Wonka could create. So I will show you some of the things that he was talking about. So this was that catalog. This is bobolink. Okay, this is the bird bobolink. This was the giant curlicue. Okay, it curls around like a ball, curly ball. Then this was the polyfrog. This is the polyfrog. This is the stinging slug. Okay, and this is the whistle pig. Yes, this you must have seen in movies or cartoons or something, right? So yes, so he went around all the places and found things. He took small bits of hair or things from all these animals, okay, to create a potion. So now, after lots of boiling and bubbling and mixing and testing in my inventing room, I produce one tiny cupful of oily black liquid and gave 4 drops of it to a brave 20-year-old Oompa Loompa. You remember Oompa Loompa's those short men's in that movie? Okay, those dwarves. So those were Oompa Loompa. So they were the volunteers there. So when he gave that, you know what happened? He began wrinkling and shriveling up all over, and his hair started dropping off, and his teeth started falling out. And before I knew it, he had suddenly become an old fellow of 75. And thus, my dear Charlie, was Vita Wong invented. So he created that potion. Okay. So now let's quickly jump to the poem. This is a very funny poem. I loved it so much. Okay. So this is about the dad, the cat, and the tree. So this morning, a cat got stuck in our tree. Dad said, right, just leave it to me. I will handle it. I will rescue that cat. The tree was wobbly. Wobbly is like moving, not very strong. The tree was tall. Mom said, for goodness sake, don't fall. Okay, it's like, please don't fall. Now, don't do all such things. And dad said, fall? He said in a mocking way, fall? Do you think I will fall? A climber like me? Child's play, this is. This is so easy peasy for me. It's such an easy job. You wait and see. He got out the ladder from the garden shed, slipped. Okay, he got out the ladder from the garden shed and he put it. But it slipped. He landed in the flower bed. That's it, never mind. Brushing the dirt off his hair, his face, and his trousers and his shirt. We'll try plan B. Stand out of my way, Mom said. Don't fall again, okay? Fall again, said Dad. Funny joke. So all this was a little like a funny thing for him, as if people are underestimating him. He could do anything. So then he swung himself up on a branch. It broke. Dad landed wallop and he fell down back on the deck. Mom said, stop it, you'll break your neck. Rubbish, said Dad. Now we'll try plan C. Easy as a winking to a climber like me. It's so easy for a climber like me. Then he climbed up high on the garden wall. Guess what? He didn't fall. He gave a great leap and he landed flat in the crook of a tree trunk, right on the cat. The cat gave a yell and sprang to the ground, pleased as Punch to be safe and sound. So now the dad climbed on the wall and he jumped on the tree and he sat where he just fell where the cat was there. The cat yelled and the cat jumped down and he was happy because he was now safe. So it's smiling and smirking. It's happy now, smug as can be. But poor old dad still stuck up the tree. So now it's all the vice versa. The cat is down and dad is stuck in the tree. Okay, so for a climber like him, this was such a child's play, wasn't it? Okay, so let's start with our quiz for today. Are you ready for it? So I will share the screen and start playing the quiz. Okay, are you ready? So let's start. 2, 1, and go. Okay, what happened to the cat at the end? The cat was safe. Yes, it was safe and it was happy. Okay. So Mr. Willy Wonka is a manager, a cook, an inventor, or a scientist. He is an inventor. Yes, he creates new things from your things, right? Okay, we have double points now. Next. Wonka White makes people. Yes, so Wonka White was the previous one that he made. So that makes people younger. Isn't it? Correct. That's correct. Which tree does Mr. Wonka say lives the longest? Fir, cedar, Douglas fir, or bristlecone pine? That's bristlecone pine. Yes. What does child's play mean? Okay. What does child's play mean? Does that mean it's very easy to do, or games played by children, or not the right way of doing something? What do you think child's play is? I think it's very easy to do. Hmm. So next, why did Dad try to climb the tree? To rescue the cat stuck on the tree. Isn't it? Yes, that's correct. It was an open ended question, so yes. Who was the volunteer who swallowed 4 drops of the new invention? It was Oompa Loompa. Yes, the dwarf. The dwarf. Oompa Loompa. Okay, and we are done with the quiz. Wasn't it easy? With 100% accuracy. Of course, the stories were so lovely. Yes, so next I'm going to the next chapter. We don't want to miss on any of the fun that is left, correct? So the next chapter is about fire. Fire is a friend and a foe. What do you mean by a foe? Foe is enemy. So fire can be a friend and also can become an enemy if you don't control it. So let's see about what is it about fire. So early man didn't know what fire was, but he must have seen the damage it could cause. He must have watched lightning and volcanoes long before he began to use fire. Fire was powerful and dangerous, and he was frightened. Okay, so the early men were frightened of fire because they didn't know how to control it. They had seen it through volcanoes and lightnings. So fire, he knew fire was dangerous. Fire may have puzzled early man, but we now know that fire is a result of a chemical reaction when oxygen in the air combines with carbon and hydrogen in a fuel. Okay, so if in a fuel you have carbon and hydrogen, and this thing combines with oxygen in the air, a chemical reaction takes place. So energy in the form of heat and light is released. Okay, when there is fire, there is energy released that is in the form of heat and light. You know that when there is a fire, you can feel the warmth and you can see the light. Correct? This is what we call fire. So fire is the result of a chemical reaction. Now, 3 things are needed to make fire. So, what are the 3 things that we need? Fuel, oxygen, and heat. Wood, coal, cooking gas, petrol are some examples of fuel. So when you add fuel, oxygen, with that, you have to add heat. Only then it will catch fire. Okay. So oxygen comes from the air. That is why when you blow on smoldering paper, it often bursts into flame. The third thing needed to make fire is heat. Fuel and oxygen do not make fire by themselves, or else newspaper or stick lying in the open would catch fire. So just imagine a matchstick, okay? Matchstick and a paper. If you keep it close, it won't make fire. There should be heat, okay? When you rub it in the matchbox, then is where you get that heat and which forms fire. Okay, so yes, so to burn a piece of paper or wood, we heat it before it catches fire. Yeah, that is what I said. You have to rub it so that there is heat produced and it catches fire. Now, okay, so every fuel has a particular temperature at which it begins to burn. Okay, this temperature is called the flash point or kindling temperature of the fuel. So it is sometimes important. It is sometimes said that fire is a good servant but a bad master. Okay, it is a good servant because when it is under your control, it is very good. But when the master, it's a bad master, because when that fire is controlling you, then it becomes totally wrong, very dangerous. Okay, so when you keep it under control, it's totally fine. It's very useful. So, what all do we do if we keep it under control? We can cook our food, we warm our homes in winter to generate electricity. But on the other hand, if fire gets out of control, it can be dangerous. Every year, there are thousands of homes, shops damaged by fire. Okay, there are many people who are killed or injured, and once you are burned, you cannot get back. It's not like any other injury. So, So just as the three things are needed to start a fire, the same three things are needed to put out those fire. Any one, if you remove, the fire is taken away. Okay, burning you can remove. So we can take away the fuel. For example, if you take away the fuel, so if the fire has no fuel, there will be no burning. Correct? So like there is no paper you're holding. If there is the paper ends, the fire ends. If you are putting a paper on fire. So the second way of putting out a fire is to prevent oxygen from it. If you put a blanket over a fire, because of lack of oxygen, there is no oxygen. So that's why the fire goes down. Okay. Otherwise, what you do is you extinguish it with, that's why we extinguish it with carbon dioxide. So it does not allow oxygen to reach the burning material. So the third way of putting out fire is to remove the heat. The temperature can't be brought down below the flash point. The temperature can be brought down, then the fuel stops burning. So that's why if you blow a candle, you're actually bringing the temperature down, the heat down. That's why it goes off. Yes? So you remove the hot air around the flame, bringing down its temperature below the flash point, and the candle goes out. Sometimes water is sprayed on a fire. It absorbs heat from the burning fuel and lowers the temperature. Okay. So when water is sprayed on fire, it absorbs the heat and lowers the temperature. So that's why a blanket of water cuts off all the supply of oxygen and the fire is extinguished. So some fires cannot be put out with water. There are some fires where you cannot put a bucket of water. Why? Because when fire is formed because of oil, if there is oil present, okay, you cannot add water, because what happens? Oil floats on top of water. It does not mix. It floats on top of water, and the water flows and takes the fire and spreads it to other places. So that can be more dangerous. Also, water should not be used for fires caused by electrical appliance. Then the person spraying it will get an electric shock and will be killed. So a carbon dioxide extinguisher is the best thing for electrical or oil related fires. So now we spend millions of rupees every year in fighting fires. So on the whole, we have learned rather well to control fire or put it to good use. So that's why before, when there was fire, people from around, the neighbors used to help. They used to make a chain, a human chain, and they used to pass on water in that chain and put out the fires. Now there are firefighters. They are fully trained people. They know all the skills. They cut off the electricity supply. They knock down dangerous buildings. They spray water, other materials to bring fire under control. They are trained. They are also trained in first aids, so they know best how to put out a fire. And also, we can give help to people suffering from burns and effects of smoke. So, the discovery of fire and its uses helped early men to cope with nature better and gradually adopt a settled mode of life. So, fire is still worshipped in many parts of the world. Fire is indeed a friend, but as we know, it can be dangerous enemy once it gets out of control. Okay, so fire is good if you keep it under control. Now, this is a very lovely poem about meadow surprises. Meadows are like those grasslands, a long stretch of grasslands. These are called meadows. Meadows have surprises. You can find them if you look. Walk softly through the velvet grass. The grass feels so velvety when you're walking there, okay? And listen by the brook. Brook is like a water flowing nearby. So when you listen to it, it feels so soothing. So you may see a butterfly. You may see a butterfly rest upon a buttercup. Buttercup is a flower, okay? So, and hold its drinking straws to sip the nectar up. So there will be small straw kind thing. You can actually drink. No, you cannot. But there will be nectars stored in that. From there, bees collect it. Okay. So you may scare a rabbit who is sitting very still, though at first you may not see him. When he hops, you will. So you may see a rabbit. There may be a rabbit also sitting, and you may scare it too, and you may not see it at first, but when he hops, when he jumps and moves, when he's jumping, hopping, only then you may see it. A dandelion whose fuzzy head was golden days ago. You must have seen those flowers with flowing parachute kind of things, okay? They start flowing. Uh, a dandelion has fuzzy head was golden days ago. It would be have been golden. After a point, it starts giving out all those petals, okay, those white color petal kind of things that flutter when you blow. So when you blow, it'll like flutter like the butterfly. Explore the meadow houses, the burrows in the ground. So there'll be little houses underground, a nest between tall grasses. So there'll be birds' nest everywhere, ants, amazing mount, ant hills. Oh, meadows have surprises and many things to tell. So you can just sit and see all the surprises and think of all that is happening there. You may discover these yourselves if you look and listen well. So you have to give it time to see and to listen all these things well. Only then you can see all the surprises. So wasn't that a lovely one? Yes. So now let's see how much attention did you pay to the story and the poem. So we will know through this quiz. It's very easy in general. You can also answer in general, but if you had paid a little attention to all the details, it would be great. You can actually score well. So let's start. Okay, give two examples when fire is useful. Okay, to cook food, to warm homes. Oh, homes in winter. Yes. To generate electricity. There were many. You can also think of your own. This is from the text I have written. So you may see a rabbit only when, okay, in the poem, you saw the rabbit only when he comes in front of you, he hops, he runs, he makes a noise. I am pretty sure it is he hops. Correct. We are right. Complete the line from the poem. Walk softly through the dash grass. How was the grass in the meadows? I told you about it. How did the grass feel? How does it feel to your feet? Velvety, right? It's velvet grass. Now choose the correct one. Fire is volcano and lightning. Fire is energy. Fire is heat and light. Fire is the result of a chemical reaction. I am sure fire is the result of a chemical reaction, right? Oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide. Okay. Fire is a good servant, but a bad, you remember what is it? It's a good servant. When you control it, it's good. But when the fire controls you, it is bad. So a bad master. Perfect. That's correct. See, it's very easy. Name any two surprises in the meadows. Surprises the meadows have. Um, okay. Houses, burrows. Okay, we'll write burrows. Burrows. And there are butterflies. Nests. You can write many more. Yes, so I'll write three. Also the buttercup flower. See, there are so many. There are two, I wrote four. You could write even more. The three things needed to make fire are heat, oxygen, and what was the third? Heat, oxygen, and fuel. Correct? Oh, I should have done, yeah. That's okay. I mean, the order doesn't matter. What was it? Fuel, oxygen, heat. Was it this? You're right. That doesn't matter. It's only the quiz. Doesn't matter. We do it great. So we did it with 100% accuracy. Yes. So we are going to the last part. The last thing that we are going to read today is two more chapters from The Alien Hand. Okay, so this is about Chandni. Okay, it is about Chandni is the name of a goat. So there was a person named Abu Khan in Almora, an old man in Almora. He was very fond of keeping goats as pets. He had Kalua, Mungia, and Gujri. He used to keep these funny names to his goats. He used to take them out for grazing during the day and talk to them as one talks to his own children. At night, he would bring them back to his little hut and put a string round the neck of each goat. But poor Abu Khan was very unlucky because very often at night, one of the goats would pull and pull at the string till it broke loose and then would disappear in the hills beyond. Goats in hilly regions hate being tied to trees or poles. They love their freedom. Abu Khan used to take very good care of all the goats, okay? But still, the goats would not stay with him. He used to give them best food and take care, love them and everything, but still the goats love their freedom more than anything else. So whenever they got the chance, they would run away only to get killed by an old wolf who lived in the hills. So there was a wolf who knew that the goats would anyways come to the hills and he would kill them. The goats never think that it I mean, they wanted their freedom even if they are being killed by the wolf. So whenever one of the goats disappeared, Abu Khan would be very sad. So one day he decided, after all his goats disappeared, he decided he is not going to get any more goats in his house. But slowly he actually got very lonely. He started feeling very lonely. So he went and bought a young goat, thinking this goat will stay with me for longer. And the goat will realize how much he cares for all these goats, and the goat will love him back. Okay. So the new goat was very pretty, white as snow, and had two little horns on her little head and a pair of gleaming red eyes. So she was a friendly goat and would listen to Abu Khan's tales with lot of interest. Abu Khan called her Chandni, which means moonlight. He loved Chandni and would narrate to her stories of all his friends who were dead and gone. Several years passed. Chandni was still there. Abu Khan believed that Chandni would never leave his compound for the free and fresh air of the hills beyond. But he was mistaken. Every morning, Chandni watched the hilltop path bathed in sunlight. How beautiful those hills are, she thought. How refreshing the breeze that blows through them. And how lovely to run across those green fields. She ran towards the hills but had to stop with a jerk. The rope round her neck wouldn't let her go any further. How she hated that. She stopped eating grass Abu Khan brought her, whatever Abu Khan brought her. She stopped listening to his story and she had no interest now. So she lost her appetite, grew very thin, and stared moodily at the hilltops bathed in sunlight. So Abu Khan did not understand Chandani's wish. So at last she decided to speak to him frankly. She said, "Dear Abu Khan, let me go to the hills, please. If I stay in the compound, I will die. I really want to go." Abu Khan was shocked. He was unhappy. So he got angry. He said, no, first he asked, "Why do you want to leave me, Chani? I give you all the food. If it's not tastier, I will give you more tastier food, and I will extend. I will tie you with a bigger rope so that you can graze a lot of areas." He said, "No, let me go. I don't want any of these things. I just want to go to the hills." So he said, "Do you realize there is risk? There is the dangerous wolf in the hills. He'll eat you up." Chani said, "God has gifted me with good horns. I will fight with the wolf and I will stay in the hills." Now Abu Khan was really, I mean, he's told about his all the other goats that how they also went there and he couldn't even fight for one night. The morning he was killed. But Chandni was sure. She made up her mind that she wanted to go. So Abu Khan got annoyed. He said, "You are not going anywhere. From today, you will stay in the small hut. You are not getting that free compound. You're not getting the compound also to free move. Ungrateful you are. You must still be saved from the wolf." So he pushed her into a small hut, shut the door, but he forgot to close the small window at the back. Okay, so that same night, Chandni made that window her passage to freedom. Okay, so she ran away. Chandni reached the hills. It seemed to her that the old hills were standing in a row to welcome her. She felt like a child meeting her parents after years of separation. Wherever she went, the tall grass rose to embrace her. The flowers bloomed to amuse her, and the wind sang an endless song of welcome. How different all this was from her past in the prison house of Abu Khan's compound. It was the happiest day in Chandni's life. That day, she played for hours on the grassy slopes of the hills. She met a herd of wild goats who asked her to join their group. But Chandni politely refused. She wanted to enjoy her new freedom all by herself. The sun disappeared and soon darkness came. Okay, it was all dark. So the wind stopped blowing and there was stillness all around. So there was a sound that came behind the bushes. Who was it? It wasn't Abu Khan. Abu Khan's voice calling her. Nor was it the voice of another goat. Then Chandni thought of the dangerous wolf who lived in the hills. She felt scared. Should she go back to the safety of Abu Khan's hut? No. Death in an open field is far better than life in a small hut. The wolf had come out of the bushes and was staring greedily at Chandni. His eyes were shining like burning coals in the darkness. He seemed in no hurry. He knew the new goat was his. The wolf and the goat sized up each other. Sized up is like they are showing how much they can do, showing that their size is not bad, okay? The wolf was big and ferocious, whereas the goat, though healthy, was small. But small is not weak. Chandni stood firm on her legs and head slightly bent and the horse jutting out. She was a picture of courage. She looked like a brave soldier ready to fight a treacherous, bad enemy. I must put up a good fight, Chandni. Success or failure is a matter of luck or chance. So she did not get scared of the wolf. Okay, she did not give up. She was ready to fight for her freedom. So the fight began. It went on through the night. The moon, which had they fight the whole night. Okay, so in the morning, when there was a faint light in the morning, okay, the first rays of the sun saw Chandni lying on the ground. She was completely soaked in blood. The wolf, tired and sleepy, was getting ready to eat her. Okay, so Chandni was almost going to die, but the wolf, she gave a tough time to the wolf too. So, an assembly of birds perched on top of a tree nearby and they were debating the result of the fight. Who is the winner? One of them asked. The wolf, of course, most of them said. A wise old bird declaimed with confidence. Chandni is the winner. But she did not give up and she gave up a great fight. She did not let the wolf take it the easiest way. Right? That is how you do. You may be superior or inferior. You may be low than others, but when you stand for something, be strong with it. Okay? Just don't give up because the opponent is strong in front of you. Yes? This is what we learn from the story. Next is the bear story. This is also a very lovely story. So there was once a lady who lived in an old manor house. Manor house is a very a big ground and grassland. So a house with big area. Okay. So on the border of a big forest. This lady had a pet bear she was very fond of. So she had a pet bear. She got that bear when he was a baby. Mosquito. Yes, so she got that beer when it was a baby. It was almost, I mean, lying there unconscious because it was hungry. So the lady took it home and gave him food and took care of it. And the bear was such a good one. It never hurt any animals or any person or anything. Even the other animals were very free in front of him. He would never do harm anyone at all. Bears are mostly a little, I mean, they do eat meat, but this bear was never given meat because bears actually love fruits and vegetables. Okay, so this lady used to give her bread, porridge, potato, cabbage, turnip, and she made sure that he got how much ever he needed to fill his tummy. So bears are vegetarians if they have a chance, and fruit is what they like best. Okay. So in the autumn, he used to sit and look with wistful eyes at the ripening apples. So bear is generally a slow animal. He walks slow, but whenever he sees apples or any fruit apples, he becomes so quick. So uh, now the bear had learned that it was against the law to go climb a tree and without permission not to take the apple. So okay, so where was I? Okay, so he had been punished. Yes. So why he knew it is against the law? Because he had been punished for this for being for having stolen for having stolen apples from a garden. So he was put in chain for 2 days, and any animal for that matter, and also bears never they used to behave very bad. They get ill-tempered if kept on chain. Okay, so they did not like. So this was like a punishment. So after that, the bear actually understood that he cannot do it. So he was also put on chain on Sundays when the lady went to spend the afternoon with her married sister who lived in the solitary house on the other side of the mountain lake. A good hour's walk through the dense forest. It was not supposed to be good for him to wander about in the forest, with all its temperature. It was better to be on the safe side. And also, he was a bad sailor, had once taken such a fright at a sudden gust of wind that he had upset the boat, and he and the lady had to swim to the shore. So she used to tie him in the kennel and leave on Sundays, also at nights. He used to be tied to the kennel at nights. So now he understands. Now the bear understands that when the lady says, "You cannot come with me, you have to stay here." So on one Sunday, when the lady had chained him and she had gone, she looked back and was horrified. Yeah, so she reached almost the forest, and when she looked back, she saw, she was horrified, okay, to see the bear coming along full speed. So in a minute, he had joined her, panting and sniffing to take up his usual place. The lady was very angry because he had disobeyed. She had told him to stay at home, but he did not listen. So, and this was like a naughty, he was being naughty of not obeying the lady. So she told him in a severest, strict voice to go back. And she did not have the time to take him back, put him on the kennel, and then come back. So he stopped a moment and looked at her with his cunning eyes, but did not want to go back and kept on sniffing her. He started sniffing her. Okay. So when the lady saw that, he had even lost his new collar. He also lost the collar that she had bought. She got even more angry and she hit her on her nose with the umbrella that she had. So that was a little hard and the umbrella broke. So he stopped again, shook his head, and opened his big mouth several times, as if he wanted to say something. Then he turned round and began to shuffle. Again, he went back. So when the lady came back, and she saw there was the bear lying there, sorry, as if he was sorry, he was lying there near the kennel. So she started scolding him for being this naughty and not listening to the lady and disobeying and all that. So the cook there came, "Why are you scolding him? He has been as good as gold the whole day. Bless him, he has been sitting here quite still on his haunches as meek as an angel, looking the whole time towards the gate for you to come. So he has not left the kennel. The one the lady hit was another bear in the forest, and that bear had actually come to attack her. He was sniffing her. Or maybe, yeah. And when the lady hit her with the umbrella, he got scared and he ran away. So, this was what happened, and we thought it was the same bear. Okay, so let's do the last part of it, the quiz, and then it's the end of the class already. Everything happened so quickly, right? Okay, so shall we start? 3, 2, 1, and go. The second bear in the forest got afraid of the lady. True or false? I think it's true because he got a hit on a nose with the umbrella that the lady had. Bears got dashed if kept on chains. Bears got upset, ill-tempered, or good as gold. They get ill-tempered if kept on chains. Why was Abu Khan unlucky? Because all his pet goats would leave him, isn't it? All his goats would just break loose and leave Abu Khan. What did the amiable bear eat? He ate porridge, apples, potatoes, and a lot of fruits. Yes, he was a vegetarian. Okay. What was the name of his favorite goat? Abu Khan's favorite goat was Gujri, Kalwa, Mungia, or Chandani. It was Chandani, the last one that was a very white, snow-like goat. Okay, so what is the next question for us? What was the name of the old man who kept goats as pets? What was his name? His name was Abu Khan. What was the strange sound from the bushes? So this is about from the goat story. Was Abu Khan had come to take the goat back. The wild goats had come to give Chandani company. An assembly of birds, an assemble of birds. A wolf that lived in the hills was hiding behind the bushes. Correct. It was the wolf behind the bushes which fought with the goat, and we are done with 100% accuracy. That was awesome, wasn't it? It was a great, fun time. We did all the stories, we did all the quiz, and almost all the quiz we did was with 100% accuracy. So that means we are getting better. That's lovely. I hope you are also enjoying the way I am enjoying these sessions. So, as I've told you, if there are anything that you want to tell me, please don't hesitate. Okay, I am all yours. So, let's end this session for today and let's say bye bye. Enjoy your night. Have a great time. Rest. Okay, bye. See you. Take care.